Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to talk about a difficult topic, and that is truth. Ooh, yeah, this is a difficult one to tackle. The frequency of truth, I think the frequency of love is probably the highest frequency on the planet. Have you ever noticed that every single human being on the planet craves for love? Even if they're evil somewhere, they crave for love. They crave for this feeling of being loved and of being able to give love, not just being loved. Most people crave for, not most people, I think all people, with whether they know it or not, crave to be able to give love, because that brings us the most amount of joy. So that's why the path to loving God is a very fulfilling path, because we know that God loves us completely. Um, and so when we love, so we can love God without feeling any sense of hesitation. With human beings, many times we might not want to give love to someone else, because then our false ego comes in, and our false ego is like, but I want to be loved, and if this person is not loving me, then I'm not going to give my love to the person. So there is a little bit of an ego clash that happens. But the path to love, the path to God can do that, if that works for you, if you believe in God. But it is one of the highest frequencies in the it is probably the highest frequency in the universe, and truth is one of the highest frequencies. And love is truth. When you're actually loving somebody, then you're being true to your nature, to your inherent nature, because your soul is just pure love. So when you are loving somebody else, as in giving to someone else, loving them, then you are actually accessing the deepest truth within you. Okay, what is like I'm not going to claim that I know anything about the absolute truth or anything, but what I'm talking about is the path towards absolute truth, which I'm on, and which probably most of you are if you're watching this video, um, is fraught with a lot of pain. Many times, in order to uncover the truth, we have to go through an immense amount of pain. So, the path to truth is not the path to feeling good all the time. Yes, the manifestation thing works with feeling good all the time, and that is a different thing. That's not what I'm talking about. But being truthful, not being positive all the time. You cannot be positive, and that is not at all truthful. Like positive thinking and all that does not work. What works is this feeling of knowing that whatever I'm doing is good. There's this knowledge that helps us stand tall, and knowing that I'm making the right decision, even if it feels painful in the moment. So yeah, so loving somebody is not I'm starting to have a little few glimpses of these. Loving somebody is not when you desire something from them. That loving somebody is when you're giving to them, and you can actually hold. So the one of my guiding principles lately is respect everybody the way you respect the person you respect the most. So when you get to that place with everyone, I'm assuming, I've started to get to that place with some people, but when you start to get to that place with everyone, that's when you can actually love everyone. But that doesn't mean that you don't keep your boundaries. Of course, that you walk away from what doesn't work for you, but you do not have any judgment around it. You have discernment that the situation is not good for me right now, but you don't have any judgment. When you've worked through this enough, and when you've practiced this enough, then you're like, okay, whatever is going on, I understand, and I love the person, and I'm walking away. So anyway, so I sidetracked a little bit, but the truth is often okay painful. So I'm going to give a few examples here. So if I want, there are two different ways that I see it. One is that even if you want to do something that you know is bad for you, because it'll feel good in that moment, for example eating that donut, for example, reaching for whatever, reaching for that drink, or reaching for, you know that it's bad for you, but you know that it'll feel good in the moment, and you do it anyways, that does not lead you to truth, because you are doing something. Because even when you're having that donut, even while you're having that donut, yes, it gives you that physical sensation of feeling good in that moment. The hormones or whatever the body craves, the body is addicted to, just pop up at that time. But you know it's not good for you. Your intellect is telling you it's not good for you. So you're not feeling good even in that moment, and you're certainly not feeling good afterwards, and it is affecting you afterwards. It is affecting you in a negative way afterwards, right? It's not good for you. So that is one aspect, when you know that something is bad for you and you do it. And the other aspect is when you know something is, you don't want to do something. So this is when you want to do something, your senses are craving it. That's the thing that I learned recently. The Gita says is that the senses and the mind and the intellect. So the senses are craving that donut, and so we have to train those senses. And I'll talk about that in just a moment. So you want to do something, but you know it's not good for you. You want to do something that will make you happy in the moment, but you know it's not good for you. The other thing is you don't want to do something, but you do it anyways. Like if somebody is asking you to do something for them and you don't feel like doing, you don't think that that's the right thing for you to do, but you do it anyways to keep the peace, because you don't want to say no. Because I've had people pleasing tendencies all of my life, and I've been working through them now. But if you're doing something like that for people that you don't want to do, and that you know is not good for you, putting yourself in that situation is not good for you, but you don't want to say no, and you're afraid to say no, then that is also going to make you feel bad in that moment. Yes, you're going to feel better that you have that relationship. Maybe that relationship will die if you say no, right? So, and it's like, if I do this, then all of my relationships are going to die. How am I going to, like, everybody has some problem or the other, right? Everybody has something or the other that is going to trigger me, but I can't just keep saying no to everybody that triggers me, because if I do, then I'm the one there's a problem with me. There's something wrong with me. So I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to keep the peace, and I'm going to not feel bad about whatever the person said, or I'm not going to, like, all of that. That's also great. That's also great. These things are so tricky, right? These are so complicated and nuanced. It's not that clear. Okay, so when you say no in that situation, you are actually you are being truthful to yourself. You are being truthful to what the right thing to do is, and you are not pandering to somebody you're actually being a lot more truthful, and you're being a lot more loving to the person by saying no, because you're not pandering to the person. The person will take whatever they can get, they will take, right? So when you say no, you are actually helping the other person understand you better, treat you better, and you're building a deeper relationship, because you are not building any resentment for the person at all, and the person can see that very clearly, that you're not building resentment. So they will be able to talk to you in a more effortless, easy way from next time onwards, because they know that you have the strength to hold the love for them, and to not judge them, to not create resentment by saying no. It's actually it's the opposite of what we might think. It's not that we are keeping the peace by saying yes, we're keeping the peace by saying no. We're building a deeper relationship, and the person might leave, and most people might leave. Let's say a worst case scenario, everybody in your life leaves, because you're saying no to things that they want you to say yes to. You dive into that. You dive into your loneliness. You dive into the feeling of whatever you're feeling, because you cannot source your happiness from anyone else. It is not possible. You will source it for 1 day, 1 minute, 1 second, and then it will die. That is not a real relationship. The source of your happiness has to come from within. It has to come from either whatever you believe in, from your soul or from God. It has to come from within. It cannot be sourced. Or any love, any joy, any happiness cannot come from outside. And the path to that truth sometimes can take years of feeling absolute loneliness and feeling absolute feeling horrible, right? It can come from this thing like, what is wrong with me? There has to be something wrong with me if people are not liking me. There has to be something wrong. I mean, if everybody isn't liking me, then there has to be. I mean, it can't just be everybody else is bad, right? And I'm the only good person. No, of course not. But what is not working, it's not that everybody else is bad and we're trying to say everybody else is bad. What we're trying to do is not source our happiness from other people. And when we do get to this place of sourcing our joy from within and not needing it's personal power. This is personal power, not circumstantial power. Circumstantial power is when you know, when you're sourcing, like if things externally are going good, then I'm happy. Personal power is I am happy regardless, completely regardless. This is not an easy path to walk, but when we are there, the uh, when we feel that strength of being happy when we're alone, then other people around us will also start to love us because we are loving ourselves, or we're sourcing our love from God. Either way, we are feeling so good within ourselves that we don't need other people. When we need other people and we're saying, hey, love me, please love me, please love me, please love me, they're going to be repelled. They're not going to love you. But when you're sourcing your happiness and love from within or from God, then they will be attracted and they will come. But then you will not need, at that point, you will not need their love anymore. You will not need them to love you because you're, so the only way, like when you're thinking, why is it that people are not loving me, then the fact that you're asking that question, the fact that you need other people to love you, means that people might not, or I mean, that's the fact that you need love from other people means that you have work to do on your own and you have to source that truth from within yourself. Okay. Yeah, that is what I feel. Is there anything else on truth? Yeah, the path, basically, the to end it, the path to truth is not an easy path. It means many times going through a lot of pain and allowing yourself to go through a lot of pain. So yeah, that's it. Wish you a day filled with lots and lots of personal and spiritual growth. Radhe Radhe.